Hey, it's Honey, your craft doctor, and today we'll be making the Gameboy charm. To make the Gameboy charm, the clay you will be needing to use will be silver, yellow, and black. You'll also need Sculpey Bacon Bond, 2 different types of cutters, a dotting tool, and some eye pins. Take the color you'll be using for your Gameboy charm and roll it into a ball. Then make a rectangle shape out of it with your fingers. You want to make it thin, but also you need it to be a little fat. Just like that. Take your cutter and cut off all the sides of your Gameboy charm. This will give it a lot more professional look. Then use your finger to flatten it out even more. Use your rubbing alcohol and Q-tip to clean up your piece. Set your Gameboy aside and get your black clay. You'll need to flatten it out. We're going to make the back of the screen and the buttons next. To make the screen, you'll just cut out a square about the size that you need to fit your Gameboy. You may have to play around with it a little bit to make sure it fits. This one right now is too big. So trim it down to size and make sure it fits, and also make sure it's very thin. Once you have the screen fitted, you need to flatten it out and make sure it fits good on your Gameboy. Next, we'll be making the arrow pad. So what you need to do is you need to start with slightly larger squares and then gradually increase them. You need to kind of eyeball this to make sure it gets perfectly straight and good. You can always make it smaller, but you can't make it bigger once you've cut it. It may take some time to do this, but eventually you'll get a cross shape. Just like that. Now I'll need to make it a lot smaller to fit my gamepad. As you can see, after a lot of trimming, you'll get your arrow keys pad. Once you get it, use your dotting tool to place it onto your Gameboy. Next, use your larger side of your dotting tool and mark out 2 spots where you want to have your AMV keys. Next, take some scrap clay, roll it out, and cut it to fit into your small dots. Once you have them cut, roll them out, make sure they look identical in the shape that they are, and then place them into your crevice of your Gameboy. And push down and make sure they fit nicely. Next, take your silver or gray clay and flatten it out. You'll need a very thin and small piece. Once you have it very flat, cut it into a square to fit over top of your black piece. Last, place it on your piece and make sure you flatten it out over top of your black. The silver that I'm using is from Sculpey, and it has a really nice sparkle to it, so once glazed, it'll really look good and look a lot more realistic. Clean your piece once again. Then insert an eye pin. You may want to use a little Sculpey baking bond. Insert an eye pin and bake according to package instructions. Once baked, glaze your piece. Keep in mind, just glaze the screen, the up and down arrows, and the 2 buttons. This will make the rest of it look harder, and it'll really bring out the screen and the other details. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and hit that like button.